Hey, Happy New Year, YouTube. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the number one reason why people can't make progress, won't make progress, or haven't been making progress. And I know around this time that there's a lot more motivation, and people have been sending me their programs that they're going to be running for the next coming year, and they're really trying to find the best possible program for getting the results that they want. And I just feel like there's a bigger underlying problem that is going to limit any one of these plans that people are sending me, because on their own these plans seem reasonable, they seem good, they can work for any number of people and will likely work for them, but there's also an equally likely chance of it not working for them and them just spinning their wheels for the rest of their lives, not being able to find something that works for them. And that is really the issue here. Most of you who are struggling to make progress on a regular basis are failing to find and settle into a routine or a repeatable system, and you're not trusting yourself to try something new. Success is a habit, excellence is a habit. Everything works if you stick to it long enough, apply yourself to it, and refine it based on your needs and observations. Yes, research is important and there is a surplus of information available out there. However, most of you are trying to make your programs a priori without any proper experience of you running through the program itself, and then trying to jump around between different styles of training and different schools of thought to accommodate all of those issues you're running with, rather than trying to play around and feel through what it is you're facing in your program right now. Learning is important, but you also can trust and rely on your own experience as another source of information. Most of your training information should come from your training logs, and anything that you watch on YouTube or you read online should just be a lens for you to read through what's happening in your training and not the other way around. You have to replicate the experiments people are communicating to you, write down the results, and try it again and make small changes to keep things moving forward. A lot of you just want to get the optimal thing first and just think that that's going to propel you into PRs for the next millennia. Not gonna happen. The reason why a lot of top level lifters sometimes default to an answer that a lot of people find not satisfying is they'll say things like it's about having the right mindset or it's about having passion for what you do. And it's not because they lack proper programming or they think that passion is somehow going to overcome proper programming. It's more so that because they have passion for what they are choosing to do and what they're buying into, it works even better. A lot of you have not bought into what it is you're writing down on your pieces of paper. You keep thinking that there's something better out there when you're not putting that effort or that intention of better into your actual workouts. You think that there's a better workout out there and that's not the one you were tasked to do today. A lot of them, regardless of what they do, they buy into it. If they do linear, they do all the things that linear style training calls upon them to do. If they do conjugate, they do all the things that conjugate type training calls upon them to do. They answer the call, right? They, whatever limitations, whatever challenges arise as a result of you following that type of system, they fully accept it, they expect it, and despite that, they put in their best effort on that system because it's the one that makes the most amount of sense to them. It's the one that they trust the most. And that's why the mindset portion of things is stressed so much by top level lifters. It's because they buy into what they are doing. Now, this is not me saying just work hard and everything's going to be okay. No, not at all. That's too thoughtless. I'm not advocating a thoughtless and blind following of any one system or any one program, right? You need to be actively involved in what it is you do, but you need to pick something and stick to it. And there's so many out there. You have the Rep Goal System by Steve Shaw. Any one of the books by Faz Lifts is so worth it, and it's something that you can take from and learn from for such a long time. Naturally enhanced. That's how I've personally learned and made my own style of training, and it started with that book from Alex Leonidas, The Evolving Rep Ranges, Natural Hypertrophy. His whole channel can has brought people back into more effective and efficient and proper training for bodybuilding. The Berserk method, and I'm going to plug my own stuff here, the EPO protocol. It provides you a starting point and it gives you points about where you can make adjustments and make changes for better training decisions over time. But none of these things work if you don't buy into them. A lot of influencers out there, or YouTubers, whatever you want to call them, or us, they all have their own personal biases and things that they would pick, right? Me personally, for the longest time, I've been upper lowers. Someone else might say that full body is better. And while it's not my personal favorite, there are some people who have found the best results for them on something like push pull legs. But it doesn't matter what I think about push pull legs if it's how you get the best results. That's what really matters here. It's not what about someone else thinks, it's about what actually is working for you. Greatness is almost always achieved by the person who cares the least about what other people think about their own methods. They stick to it. A lot of people thought that whatever Cus D'Amato came out with was just not going to be working well enough in those weight classes, or he wouldn't find the right athlete for it. And then we saw prime Mike Tyson take it and really make it something great. And that's part of the reason why I respect him so much as we do from that point in his career. If you are watching YouTube, if you are interacting with any one of these coaches online, you do not need our permission. What you should prioritize is passion for what you do. And when you are watching my videos, I'm just going to be sharing with you the methods that I use, the challenges that those methods necessitate, and the ways I've worked around them. That is how you should look at any of the information you watch on other channels. Some channels that I watch doesn't really apply to me because I don't really train in the exact same way, but that doesn't mean that their methods are any less effective or mine are. It's just we have different problems and we have therefore different ways to solve those problems and get around them. Lifting is a lifelong pursuit, and you can't avoid your own experience. Otherwise, you won't make any results. So many of you are trying to optimize your training, but it doesn't make sense to you. You don't have any passion for it, and you don't really know for sure what exactly is causing progress because you aren't sticking with any one of them long enough. You track your PRs, and you associate it with whatever program you're doing right now, whether it's 531 or fifth set or conjugate, whatever it is you did for that last training block, and you think, okay, this is the thing that made me get results. But you are missing the point. You have to also look at all the other conditions and variables that were present during that training block that made the PR possible. If you are constantly wondering, why is my program not working? My first answer is, have you tried it 100 more times? Some of you have hit your first wall and think that that's the end of the program. That's it. I've stopped making progress on this thing, and as a result, I need to jump on to the next progression. I need to do the next thing. Not always the case. And yes, I know that this advice of doing it 100 more times has its own limitations, and there does come a time where the program stops working, but you should never be limited by your own consistency and the quality of your own effort. If you are, that usually means you're not running a program and you're just running a to do list. A good program provides you a framework for decision making. When should you keep pushing? When should you take a step back? How do you know you're making progress? You have to make sure that your program gives you a way to view the results of your effort in the gym. And the last point I want to make here is that a good program is always going to be supported by good technique. Progression should follow from your proper training fundamentals and not be placed on a pedestal at the detriment of your own quality of effort. So, what is the takeaway here? Stop jumping around to your program. Even if it is not working perfectly, really write down and make sure you're actually looking at your training logs to figure out why that's the case. And oftentimes, people will find that things are actually working pretty damn well. Things There's many times where I've talked to someone who said like I'm hitting a plateau, and then I'll ask them for form videos and I'll ask them for their training logs, and they'll send me a form video where their form is still really good and they're hitting a bit more weight, but they're just like, it feels so much heavier and I don't think I can make progress next week. So I'm just like, okay, have you thought about like just restarting the thing and just going forward again? And then just kind of going about things, because that's really what program is. You take steps forward, you take steps back. You take steps forward, you take steps back. You create an environment for progress and things of that nature. But a lot of you, the moment you meet any kind of difficulty or something of that nature, you think that is the fault of the program, and that is not true. Any program you run will typically find the same exercises, a very simple to follow progression system, progression indicators, and steps that you should take should things start to slow down. That is basic programming, and you just need to be able to put yourself into the system that you most agree with, that you have the most passion for, that you have the most buy-in for, so that way you can stick to it when things get difficult and when you have to start over. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to work with me for coaching so that way I can walk you through this entire process, the links are in the description below to apply for my coaching services. If not, I would highly recommend many other coaches on this platform. And I hope that all of you have a good, successful 2023, and that you stick to something this year and really figure things out about how you like to train, and so that way you can get the most out of your training. Thank you so much. Have a great day.